Hello, let me know if you can see and hear me okay. And congratulations to anybody who has the patience to deal with my flexible start time. I did, in fact, break a record today. It is 3 hours now after the earliest possible start time. So, I am very much looking forward to today's healing. And I will be healing 144 people in 11 different countries. And the theme for this healing and the healings that we've been doing this month is strong boundaries. Woohoo, thank you for a confirmation. The strong boundaries. Do I want to say anything before I get into the theme and the discussion of what we're doing today? Just get into it. Let's do it. Do it. Oh, I guess, if you wish to give it a thumbs up, if you would be so kind, I would appreciate if you gave the live stream a thumbs up. Or if you're watching later as a video, please give it a thumbs up if you would. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Getting some, yeah, I'll do some too. Yay. Some celebratory. I don't know what those are called, like flying emojis, floating emojis. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Hello to you guys. Patient enough to hop on when the live stream does, in fact, finally start. Yay! So, strong boundaries. Today, I think it will be like the ability to keep your cool is what we're working today. I mean, strong boundaries, you can go 15 different directions with that. So the direction we're going to go is help you to keep your cool, meaning not cool temperature, but keep your center, keep your focus, keep your face, hold your ground, keep your flow, all that good stuff. Under pressure. Pressure can be a whole lot of things. Life happens. So pressure could be people related, situation related, life event related, all sorts of things. So, how are we going to work keep your cool? I'm going to say the biggest thing first, the spookiest thing first, let's say. I mean, for some people it's really exciting, not spooky at all, but some people it can be a little spooky, but we will do it in a non-spooky way, I promise. Okay, so clear abuse baggage. Dun dun dun. Starting with the big elephant in the room first in my explanation. Oh, so abuse baggage, it could be a lot of things that you consider abuse baggage. It's just, compressed energy from shitty experiences you've been through, basically. Shitty experiences in this life or past lives, even if you've had a somewhat idyllic life in this life so far, perchance. Not me, but it could be that you have. Then, there's still past life stuff, most likely that, it would be great to clear and get out of the way. Because otherwise it's a bit of an Achilles heel. You know, like it's easy for people, even just accidentally, to trigger your abuse baggage. And then you may implode, you may just like over rev, you may, you know, all sorts of whacked out behaviors. You know, you basically you'll lose your cool. So H and G there, that means healthy and gentle. So this is sort of the classic example of why you'd want to do things healthy and gentle, because you don't want to make it worse. You don't want to like trigger more baggage than you're actually going to clear. So we will be very careful about it, and mindful, so that because we want to make you stronger and more, um, you know, able to keep your cool, more able to manage your stressors. And so we'll do it mindfully. We won't just willy-nilly trigger every shitty thing that you've ever been through. No. So that's that. And it's easy to clear abuse baggage. You can clear it just like you clear productivity baggage, just like you clear sleep, you know, energy blocks that give you nightmares, you know, just like anything else. You just, you know, clear it. Obviously, we could do it mindfully and uncord people first, and then, you know, ask angels to recycle any invasive beings linked to it. And then we even ask angels, you know, is this amount of clearing healthy and gentle to do right now? You know, but then you basically blow it up or melt it with cold light. So it's easy, super easy. Excuse me. So then, what else will we do? What else? So heal mini use. So that's a technique that we use from time to time. It's always pretty useful. So it's based on the idea that you're not just one thing at one time. You know, you're complicated. Everybody's complicated. So you can be feeling apathetic consciously, but there's a part of you that's furious. Or you could be feeling, you know, completely stressed out, and there's a part of you that's actually sad, you know? So, so these mini parts of you, you know, and you can pick out many parts of you that most need healing, and therefore get to symptom relief that maybe before then had been a bit elusive. Like you can say you're like, I have no idea why I haven't done this project yet, Janet. You know, it is complicating my life so much that I haven't done it yet. But then there's like 3 different little mini parts of you that are like, no, I'm never going to do it and you can't make me. So then we heal those parts of you so that they like chill out and get balanced again. So then you get back that energy. So it's not like a divided off part of you. And then, you know, you have more of a chance of getting starting what you've been avoiding. So that's one example. Another example of like a mini you part of you that's really good to heal would be like a shit starter part of you. Like I have different clients that it's more obvious, at least to me, that they have shit starter parts of them, probably not to them. But it's like they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna tell this person blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh wow, that's not gonna go so well. Like there are ways that you can communicate that would be shit starting, and there are ways that you can communicate that would be like mini shit starting, or like baby shit starting, or not at all shit starting, you know? It's like sometimes you don't need, you know, people I think confuse like standing up for yourself with, you know, like a blind denial of the effect that it's going to have on other people. which is not to say that you don't stand up for yourself and do what works for you. It's to say that not getting your ass handed to you later over and over and over again because that person is so triggered for like 3 months later, for 3 months with you is in your best interest. It's like it's considering the backlash potential of different types of communication, and how to do it, how to, be true to yourself, but also, reduce backlash potential. And I think for some people that is just not, it just doesn't come naturally to them to have that, because they have these really prominent shit starter parts of them that just like kind of override their normal, intuitive, thoughtful aspects of themselves. So I think it's always good to heal shit starter parts of you. The thing is too, the funny thing with these mini yous, it's like some of them are walled off, so you really don't know you're doing it. Like that part of you is like you've built up a denial wall between you and that part of you, and so you are not aware that it's there. Like an example could be like if you have really angry parts of you, like sometimes shit starter parts of you can be really stuck in like ragey kind of repressed anger. And, a lot of people have been raised to view anger as, antisocial and negative because they've only seen the sort of the ragey, loud, obnoxious, violent kind of anger, like repressed anger that gets triggered. It's like, they haven't seen like really stable, moderate, mindful anger. So, they'll be like, oh, well, anger's bad. I'm not angry. I can't be angry. And so they'll wall off these parts of themselves that are like furious. And then those walled off parts of you will start shit with other people. And then you'll be like, why do they all have a problem with me? So part of these minis will be walled off parts of you, but not exclusively. So I don't think we're going to do only walled off parts. I know we're not going to only do walled off parts of you. So there's that. So there's an expression, at least in English, that says like, oh, they push my buttons, or someone pushed my button. It's like they're pissing me off or something, or they know how to push my button. And so it's basically a sort of a normalized pop culture way to say that, that person triggered me. That person triggers my anger or my resistance or whatever. And they're good at doing it, But the idea is, your buttons are yours, they're your baggage, and those people are triggering your baggage by courting it, but you could just clear the damn stuff, and that way you clear your buttons so that you can't be so easily manipulated. So we're going to hunt for different types of button baggage, baggage that when triggered, you end up, reacting a certain way. And the reaction can be a more extroverted reaction or a more introverted reaction, like implosion, you're just like, going into like a, sort of like a surrender mode, where you feel completely overwhelmed. So that can be that type of button baggage that makes you implode, and we can clear that baggage so that then you don't just get paralyzed and and like your brain stops moving and thinking. So there's that. There's just resistance baggage. That could be button baggage. So like someone pushes that stuff or cords that baggage, and maybe your thoughts get really repetitive and you get really tense, and you like, keep rehearsing arguments in your mind and stuff. Oh my god. I'm just laughing because I used to have that problem. Like it was a long time ago, but that sucks when you can't stop like repeating an argument in your mind. um, there's button baggage that's a little more subtle. That's like if it's triggered, you become very defensive and sort of belligerent. Um, like you'll say something kind of rude if that button gets triggered. So that tends to happen, in like with people that maybe people that know you well, so you don't have as much of a filter with them. And then they'll do something to trigger this baggage, and you just become kind of rude and obnoxious with your reply in a way that's totally not in your best interest. So that's a type of button baggage. So that's the kind of thing we want to clear. To help you keep your cool. So this is like a standard thing, 7th to 8th chakra connection, unblocking that and repairing it. We've done that plenty of times before. I have a very rudimentary drawing. When I do that, I'll pull it up. I'll spare you it right now, but I'm preferring the ocean wave concept. If that like freaks somebody out, you can let me know in the chat or later in your post healing survey if I'm healing you. But it's new. I found it. I bought it. But anyway, the 7th to 8th connection, 8th chakra is your eternal wisdom. It's a chakra of yours, but it's not a part of your astral body, and it doesn't come into your physical body. It just stays up above your 8th chakra. It looks like a big gold orb, like a gold sun. And it's anywhere from like a foot above the top of your auras to like 10 feet above the top of your auras. It'll get closer and further out. And there's a gold connection between your 8th chakra and your 7th chakra, so that your 8th chakra can send down like big picture wisdom and calming, healing energy. And because you've learned from past lives, and you've been in various types of situations before, and so there's generally like some kind of higher self kind of wisdom that you can get through that connection if it's not banged up and screwed up and locked up. So that's always nice to clean out and repair. So this is like 2nd and 1st chakra and legs. And so 2nd and 1st chakra, those are the 2 lowermost chakras in your physical body and your astral body. And those are the innermost 2 layers of your physical body aura and astral body aura. Your 1st chakra generates your 1st layer, which is the closest to your body all around. And your 2nd chakra, below your belly button, generates your 2nd layer, right? And it's all the way around. And those 2 are the most likely to be too tight and compressed, and so we'll do extra unblocking of those. And the legs too, we'll do extra unblocking of those just to help, because the more rooted you are, the more flow you have in these lower chakras and inner aura layers, the more you can keep your cool under pressure. So Good to do. Thank you, everybody, for your surveys. I did read them all and consider them. I appreciate knowing how you were doing after the first healing and with all the things going on in your life at the time. As always, it helped me plan for this healing. So let's see. How about I'm going to look at pre-healing chat comments, and then we'll do 3 minutes of quiet before I start the healing. During the healing, I say out loud what I'm doing as I do it, except for the first minute when I'm quiet. And so you could use that, what I say out loud as I heal, as a self-healing walkthrough if you want. If you're a beginner, even if you're an advanced healer, if you're a professional healer, either way, there's stuff in there that you can find that's, I think, beneficial. So there's that. But if I'm healing you, you can heal yourself at the same time, of course. And a lot of people do enjoy doing that. But you can also just listen and clean your house, or not listen and watch later and take a nap, or just still do whatever you got to do in your life right now. That's fine. The healing still works. And for those that don't understand, let me put that. For those that don't know, the information that I'm teaching is, free of charge for everybody. That's one of the main reasons why I do group healings, is so that everyone can learn the techniques if they want. But for me to heal you during the live stream, you would purchase the set of healings on my website, and they're very affordable, hopefully, for you. And that's it. jwhealing.com is my website. So the ones that are for sale right now are the future healing sets. There's 2 sets of healings in August and 2 in September that are on my website for sale right now. But anyone, of course, is welcome to watch this live stream and learn from it. Cool. Okie doke. So we can see and hear you. Thank you. First commenter. Can see and hear you from foggy, drippy San Francisco. 61 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a little chilly. For summer. Hey, Janet. Good afternoon from sunny Las Vegas. 97 degrees Fahrenheit. Which I guess for you guys is very typical. Looking forward to this healing. Have been a couch potato for hours now. Hi, Janet. 87 degrees Fahrenheit and looking like it's about to storm in Chicago. How about that? Hello, Janet. Can see and hear you. A little flamenco emoji. The new background is so nice and calming. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I had a different one that I liked too, the waves, but that waves one was like, it was kind of darker. So I wanted one that was sunny. So got this one. I'll still use that other one sometimes. H&G sounds like some fashionable brand. Yes, H&G. I think I want to say there probably is an H&G brand. Yes, for me it means healthy and gentle. Hey, Janet from Oxford, UK. Hello to you. Hope you are well. Yes, I am. A big week ahead for me, in which keeping my cool will be 100% essential. Well, awesome. Well, you can find some good stuff in this healing to continue to work throughout the week to maintain your cool. The 5 essentials, which we do at the start of all the healings: grounding, aura repair, chakra repair, creative ring repair, and then stuff back here, good karma windows and base of skull points. Those are the 5 essentials. So that stuff is good for, repair, unblock, flow, general presence. So if you need some of that stuff, you could just use your intuition. Do I need any of the 5 essentials, and kind of redo them? But then, yeah, these techniques take it one step further. There's also the short video playlist, if because all this video will have chapters, so there'll be little 8-minute sections or whatever, however short they are. And so that's nice, but it can be sometimes that you're just kind of intimidated by the fact that it's a 3-hour live stream, even if there are little sections in it. So then I have the short video playlist where it's just like one grounding video that's 6 minutes, or one video on chakra repair that's 5 minutes, that kind of thing. So that short video playlist is featured on my YouTube channel page if you need it. Like there's a little short video on inner child healing. So it's a little ones. Okay, so now finally I'm quiet for just a teeny bit while I finish my prep. Okie doke. Thanks for waiting. So, let's get hand chakras going. You have a hand chakra in the palm of each hand, and you have fingertip chakras, one in each fingertip. And like all chakras, they generate energy. So those particular chakras, hand and fingertip chakras, you can set to a metallic gold color, like this glitter. And you can just do that with your thought or your intention. You don't have to be able to see energy. Seeing energy, you can get better at that with time, but at first maybe you don't see anything when you close your eyes, which is fine. But so you just set those chakras to a metallic gold color. Which means that that's the color of energy that they're generating now. And then you use gold light from one hand to heal and unblock and repair the other hand. And you can, with hands, you can do direct like that if you want. You can also make a copy out in front of you of your hands and just heal them that way. That's kind of interesting too. You can have devices stuck into your hand chakras that maybe block the flow of energy or make it easier for other people to kind of tune down your chakras. So you could just imagine any, cruddy devices that are, any devices are cruddy, any devices in your hand chakras. So the chakra, it's got round openings on the front and the back. So any device in there, you could just surround it in gold light and lift it out and give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. If you want to be extra careful, you could just think, okay, well, any remaining devices there, are there any invasive beings hooked into those devices? And you can line those up like a suspect lineup, at a police station. I mean, don't do anything to them, but just imagine them lined up. And say, angels, can you recycle all these invasive beings that are hooked into devices in my hands? And then, there could be people cording these devices in your hand chakras. So just melt the cords between those devices and the people. And then just, you could just melt them right in place, like use so much gold light that they just sort of pixelate and become nothing. But you can also just loosen them up and lift them out as solid pieces and give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. You're lifting out any devices from other people, which you could call manipulations if you want, but just shit from other people in your hand chakra. Just and you could do both hands at once if you want, like make a composite of both your hands and do your hand chakras both at one time, and just have the devices loosen up and lift them out and give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. So the devices could be like circular in shape, pretty much that like fit in there and just crunch the whole thing. Or they could be like spears or something. So just loosen those up. Angels, here you go. Angels. And the surface of a chakra shouldn't be all gashed up and weird looking. The surface, like it's easier to demonstrate in a chakra like this that's longer, like say your heart chakras in your chest, round opening in the front, round opening in the back. So the surface of the round opening should be like flowing water, so that if you were to tap it, there'd be this pretty ripple effect there. So like say your heart chakra, green is an ideal color for your heart chakra. So you set it to your favorite shade of green. And that ideally would look like green flowy water, and then you could just tap it and there'd be this pretty ripple effect, right? But there could be, hard energy blocks there, making it look all black, or weird, symbol-like looking things pressed into it that you just lift out. Those are just devices or manipulations from other people. So you lift those out, give them to your angels. So just keep healing and repairing until it's like flowy, like water, right? So you can do that with your hand chakras, on both sides of your hand chakras. You want them just flowy, right? So you can unblock the front and back of your hand chakras. And just like you would do, when we repair and unblock all chakras, you can go like that and just surround it with a lot of gold light, on either end. You can do that with your hand chakras, just surround them in gold light. Gold fire, gold water, whatever you prefer. Okay. And then, we could do your neck, shoulders, and arms, and wrists, and elbows, and all that good stuff. So you make a copy out in front of you of your neck, shoulders, and arms, a bit like Agudal here. Doesn't have to be, this detailed though. It could just be the general shape. Yeah, but it represents your neck, shoulders, arms, and hands. Yeah, just lots of gold light. And the auras around these areas are just as important to get unblocked as within your neck, shoulders, arms, and hands. Because the auras protect your neck, shoulders, arms, and hands. You can do that V area by your shoulders, meaning this, from like where your neck meets your shoulders outward diagonally in a V shape. That's where it's a likely location for energy blocks. And then that if somebody or something is courting those energy blocks, shooting energy inward, it can really lock up, your neck and your shoulder. Very uncomfortable. You could check that V area of your auras and unblock that. If you have any spheres stuck in there, just lift them out. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Angels, here. You say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this work, can you please recycle them? All right, so good enough. I'll put a little V by the shoulders so that later in the heading, hopefully I'll put the V so people know we did that. We did the V area, help the shoulders and the neck. All right. Let's get going with the 5 essentials, the first of which is grounding. And there are 2 different little short videos on grounding, on grounding, etc., but mostly grounding in that short video playlist if you just a standalone grounding video that is recent. So your grounding, you could recreate it and make them both wide, nice and wide as say your wrists if you stick out your arms. And bring up your groundings high as your 3rd chakra. So below your sternum, that's where your 3rd chakra is. So make your groundings go up that high, make them both red or both orange or both yellow. And then you make a copy out in front of you of your nice big wide groundings and comb through them so you can make sure they flow really well downward to the core of the earth. The point of grounding is to help you let go of stuff that's not your energy, and then the center of the earth just neutralizes it and sends it back to where it belongs. And also then you can receive energy from the center of the earth, and that's very calming and helps you keep your cool. So unblock your grounding with gold light from your hands. Just, you can imagine the blocks like, flat black rocks or something, and just melt them away with the gold light. You can have other colors of energy that's not you in your grounding. So just, you're just using gold light to wash out everything that's not you from your grounding. And indie grounding is where you check the outer surface all the way down of your groundings and use gold light and melt away anything that's sticking out of your grounding, anything that's connecting to your grounding, just melt all that away with gold light. So indie grounding stands for independent grounding. So your grounding works better if nobody else is hooked into it, and same with the people you care about, their grounding works better if it's not plugged into you. So wash everybody out. And if you do lose your cool at any point in time, checking your grounding is a good first step. Just see if your grounding's wide as all your auras, and is it wide all the way down, and is it flowing all the way down? Because your grounding could be sort of like a cone shape, and then it's all blocked at the bottom. Good if it's that way. So just keep melting blocks. So again, it's nice and wide and flowing. Oh, right. Good job. Good job. Good job. So aura repair. Believe it or not, I did not always know about aura repair. Fun fact. I figured it out. Figured it out the hard way, getting my aura ripped up over and over and over again. Then it's like, oh yeah. So if you want to see a video of me before I knew about aura repair, you can look at my private channel. I should say an aside. So as I was saying, if you want to see a video evidence of when I didn't know about aura repair yet, hadn't figured out aura repair, but I knew about chakra repair, I knew about grounding, I knew about auras, just not about repairing rips. I have that personal public channel called Janet's Pineapple Time, and there's a video that my husband made called Herbie Goes to Washington, which shows our whole cross-country trip when we took all our 7 pets from Chicago to Washington State when we moved in 2016. And so there's a lot of footage of, both me and my husband during that trip. And if I had known about aura repair then, that would have definitely helped. But that's okay. I did my best. That's what you do. You do your best at every given time, right? Anyway, but that's personal aside on how important aura repair is and what a difference it makes as far as grace under pressure. All right, so let's do it. Okay. So you have 17 auras, and there's the astral body aura, physical body aura, and then 15 auras called Wei Qi auras that are your strong boundaries energy. Well, most of your strong boundaries energy of you as a spirit. So those are gold flowy force fields, and then your physical body aura and your astral body aura have layers to them, 7 layers. But the point of aura repair is that any of those 17 auras can get rips, like big old giant rips or skinny deep rips, whatever. And rips are not cool. Rips can be overwhelming because then your aura can't do its proper job of protecting you if it's all ripped up. And then you leak energy, which attracts invasive people and invasive beings. It just sucks. So aura repair is easy and important. Let's do it. Oh God, I hate when I say doing it and then I talk more. Okay, fine. So you make a copy out in front of you of all your 17 auras, and first just, check, do you need aura repair? Probably do, because those are a lot of auras and they can be tears. So you could repair them manually like this, just clean out each gash and use so much gold light that it grows back fully. But we're going to use composite copy techniques so we can repair all the rips at the same time. So you create an image of a rip and you say with your intention, okay, this rip represents all the rips that I have currently in my 17 auras. And then you clean out the rip and use gold light to repair it, right? So you clean it out using sticky gold wax. So that's gold light from your hands that with your intention, it sticks to everything that's not you, forms a big lump. And then you remove the lump all at once and give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So sticky gold wax, fill up the rip, lift out all the junk that's not you. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out all that junk that's not you. Angels, here you go. What is the junk? Could be hard objects from other people that were thrown at you, creating the rip in the first place. It could be just random invasive people, invasive beings, stuff like that. So sticky gold wax, get rid of all the junk that's in this rip. Angels, here you go. And then use gold light, get it as deep as you can. You can say to angels, if there are any invasive beings still in the way of this repair, can you please recycle them? Again, that's angels. If there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you please? Okay, so that probably repaired most of your rips, but in case you have a few leftover rips, we can do it one more time and make a new composite copy and just say, okay, well, this represents any leftover rips that I have. And then you do the same process. Sticky gold wax, lift out the junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out all the junk. Angels, here you go. Angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you please recycle them? So you could have leftover hardness in your auras as a result of the whatever damage happened. So like scarring on the outer surface or bruising in the inner layers, say, of your astral body aura or physical body aura. There could be several patches next to each other of hardness. And you don't want that. That creates weakness in your auras. So then it's more likely to tear more deeply if someone throws energy at you again. So let's get rid of all the aura hardness. So pile up all your aura hardness out in front of you. And you can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you please recycle them? And then wash people out. If there's any people hooked into this aura hardness, just, use gold light, melt the cords, melt the people's energy out. And then just melt all this aura hardness with gold light from your hands. Or you could blow it up. All right, good job, good job, good job. One more thing for aura repair. preparing gold mesh spheres. So each Wei Qi aura is full of gold light, hopefully, because each Wei Qi aura has 3 gold mesh spheres that wrap all around you. And they, if they're functioning properly, they continually generate gold light. And so that fills up the aura, and also it gets sent in to whatever meridian that aura is supposed to nurture. But those gold mesh spheres can get all, they can get gaps in them, you know, if that aura got ripped and then the rip gets repaired, but then there's still a gap. So we'll just sort of go through these gold mesh spheres and make sure that there's no gaps. We'll just repair the gold mesh sphere. All right, good job, good job. So creative rings are up here, 1, 2, 3. They are gold, and unless they don't look gold because they got too much shit on them, but their natural color is gold, and they generate gold light, which forms a nice cushy force field right there, and also gets sent down to help your major chakras along your spine. So you can make a copy out in front of you of your 3 gold creative rings. It's a part of your spirit. So it comes and goes with you as a spirit, your creative rings. But you can use gold light and melt cords going into them from people. You can, any invasive beings that are cording your creative rings or wrapped around them or messing with them in any way, you can just imagine them like sort of busybody clouds and just be like, angels, can you please recycle these invasive beings? Or angels, can you recycle any invasive beings messing with my creative rings? And just use gold light and melt away any weird crusty hardness around your creative rings. So your creative rings, as well as your chakras have flaps around the round openings, and your creative rings have flaps too. So this would be like a top-down view of one of your creative rings, and you don't want the flaps to be open. It makes it easy for people to sink a pair of cords into the open flaps. So you want to melt enough cords and unblock enough so that the flaps relax and fall shut. So it's a nice smooth round opening without flaps sticking open. Same thing with the chakras. You want to melt the cords enough and unblock enough and repair enough so that the flaps fall shut. That your energy can go through, but it's harder for people and invasive beings to put a pair of cords into there. So anyway, back to the creative rings. Just keep relaxing those flaps, melt enough cords so that the flaps fall shut. And the flaps that are most likely, I mean, any of them can be irritated, you know, because there might be like a device kind of stuck there, a hard object stuck there. But the ones that I would say you could double check the most would be 12, 6, 3, and 9. I don't know if I did that right, but 12, 6, 3, and 9 o'clock, you know, so like 12, 6, 3, and 9. However, you know, the sides and the front and the back. And those are for some reason the most likely to be corded. So you can just melt cords, parts of your creative rings. especially. All right, good enough. Well, okay, one more thing is you could just unblock your auras above your creative ring. That's nice. So the aura, so if your cravings are here, then your auras from here up to the top of your auras, unblock that whole area, because that makes the auras more flowing, less blocked, and then so it's harder for invasive energy and invasive people to cord and shoot down energy and kind of overwhelm your rings and your chakras. So unblock, like from, here. Unblock this whole area. You can do it from the top here. Unblock that whole area. And I guess while we're at it, you can unblock above your shoulders too, just cool. Block above head. Rings. Sometimes if you're trying to bring in a lot of new energy, there'll be like kind of a shit ton of blocks right here, because it just, all the new energy, if there are blocks here already, they kind of become compressed and kind of pressurized as the new energy is trying to come in. New energy of yours, good stuff, trying to come in, it'll like press it down. Melt blocks above your shoulders and above your head. All right, a couple deep breaths. Breathe into your whole body. Breathe into your auras, your groundings. Okay, so chakra repair and unblocking is crazy easy, and it's so helpful. I love that. So you can repair one chakra at a time. For example, if you have, discomfort in one specific spot or tightness in one specific spot, you can definitely do them one at a time. But we're not gonna do that right now. We're gonna do them all at once. So just make an image of a composite copy. It could look something like this, because this is the basic chakra shape, an open cylinder. So you make your composite copy of a chakra and just say, okay, well, this represents all my chakras, all major and minor chakras, which includes all the super cool acupuncture points, includes, chakras around any joint that you have. It's a lot of chakras. So all chakras of your body and spirit, right? And just use a lot of gold light and melt the blocks, melt the cords, repair any damage. The damage could look like cracks or missing chunks, or there could be spears, hard objects stuck in them, gashes, scratches that don't belong there. So just melt all that away, repair. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with my chakras, can you please recycle them? Sometimes if you get whacked and it sort of gets in really strategically well, so that a lot of the force is preserved and comes all the way through, all your chakras can get damaged all at the same time. And you're like, so, but repair is easy. So just get good at it. Not a problem. Lots of cold light, melt the cords, melt the blocks. You can lift out the blocks too and just melt them that way. Lift them out, melt them separately from the chakras if you want. Lift out the blocks, melt away. And your intention is you want to unblock and repair and heal to the extent that's healthy and gentle to do right now. Lift out the blocks, melt them away, or blow them up. Lift them out, melt them away. Lift them out, melt them away. And again, the flaps around the round openings, so they look like this, except not gold. It would be the color of the chakra, where that color is. So you don't want it to look like this. This is when they're open and irritated, right? Otherwise, if they're nice and shut, that's good. There'd be just a smooth outer surface, which is ideal. So just melt the cords, repair, pop out the devices, have them blow up. You can comb through the chakras, lift out all the junk, melt it away. Comb through the chakras, lift out all the junk, melt it away. Through the chakras, lift it out. If anything's not clearing, just give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Comb through the chakras. Angels, here you go. Couple deep breaths. So, now the fifth essential is back here, all this stuff. So good karma windows are in the astral body aura back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then base of skull points are just all the acupuncture points at the base of your skull. So the good karma windows, each one looks like a triple frame window or 3 concentric squares. So what the heck is that? So that's a rudimentary drawing of what I mean by a triple frame window. And each one is, the color of that layer of the aura. So red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, deep blue, purple, if you use the rainbow system for your chakras. Just so you imagine this area and you just use lots of cold light. Your intention is that you're clearing out what's not you and you're repairing what is you. You can lift up the blocks and melt them away. Lift up all the blocks, melt them. You can pick any one of the good karma windows to do individually. So I'll do the 7th and the first one individually. Just for kicks. So the first good karma window is the one in the first layer of your astral body aura, so it's close to your astral body head. And the ideal color is red. So if you set your first chakra to red, then this would also be red. It's pretty interesting if you ever did want to geek out and just do one window at a time. Like I wouldn't say geek out and do every damn all 7. I mean, you could, but you could just sort of intuitively be like, oh, geek out on this one particular one, and just look for like, because there could be hard objects or, manipulations from other people, just kind of embedded in the window part or like clamped on the frame part. So that's always kind of interesting to look and just loosen them up with gold light. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. And then just repair now that the hard objects are gone. First chakra, first layer, has to do with abundance, safety, courage. So, you can have a past life maybe that was really, like maybe you were a warrior and the other side. It's not like there have been cultures, maybe in this culture, you never know. I guess possible that the US says anything's possible. But I know in past lives there have been people that like aid that do energy attacks on the opposite side, of the war. And so, like, for example, you could have some objects in your first good karma window from like the opposing side in some battle of a past life that's meant to like instill fear in you. And so you can just loosen up those hard objects from that past life in your first good karma window and just get rid of them. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. And just use lots of gold light to repair. So it's nice and so the window part's just red and flowy. Angels, here you go. Here you go. You might have some invasive beings hooked into all that drama. So you say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you please recycle them? Angels, here you go. And then similarly with your 7th good karma window, so the one in the outermost layer of your 7th layer, if you set your 7th chakra to purple, which I think is an ideal color for it, then, this 7th good karma window would be purple. And, 7th chakra is for identity, confidence, intention, goals, autonomy, taking charge of your life. So it can be a lot of reasons people might want to influence that or shut it down. So there may be really interesting looking objects from past lives in there screwing things up. So just loosen those up with gold light. Give to your angels. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. Like some of them look pretty cool, actually. I mean, that's terrible. You don't want to keep them, but they look cool. There could be like a swirl, like that's black or silver or something in there, and it's just to fuck you over. Excuse my French, but it looks cool. So you just loosen it up. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. But there could be ones that are less exotic, like maybe just a big black heavy square, stuck in there, or like some ones that look more like bullet holes or something. Just loosen them up, get your angels, angels, here you go, and then repair the window part with gold light. There could be ones that look like little moons, little crescent moon shapes. Loosen them up, give your angels, angels, here you go, angels, here you go. Gold light. All right. Because the idea is you just want you. You don't want shit from other people, especially in, well, anywhere in your space is pretty key. I was going to say in critical areas, but like I would say everywhere in your aura is a critical area. All right. So base of skull points. Right there. So this is showing traditional Chinese medicine meridians in your physical body. And the base of skull points are those 2 rows, is what I call the 2 rows of points. One at the level of the top of the earlobe, one at the level of the bottom of the earlobe. And so you could just repair them. They're supposed to be, they're chakras, right? Acupuncture points are minor chakras. Minor just meaning they're not the major 7, but they're super cool. So like that midline one that goes up, that's your GV meridian, governing vessel meridian. It starts in your crotch, goes up the midline of your back, and then hooks around your head, ends in the roof of your mouth. And that one helps to manage all your yang meridians. So like your take charge energy, self-assertiveness. Those points are GV 15, 16, and 17, right? 15 and 16, those are the 2 that are close together in the diagram. And then 17 is, that upper row of base of skull points. So those, and again, the chakras are going to be shaped like this because they fit right into the meridian. If the meridian was going this way, they would be, oriented this way. They fit right in the meridian, and their goal is to just keep the energy flowing within the meridian. Well, one of their goals, one of their functions. So these meridians can get crushed, smushed, compressed. You can get hard objects stuck in them. So you want to be red flowy tubes that carry your red life force, your body's vitality at red. So just uncrush the tubes. If there's any crushing going on, uncrush the chakras. Lots of use gold light to do it. You can bring up red earth energy and make a special grounding for this whole region of your base of skull area. Just a red grounding straight up from the core of the earth. You can lift out the energy blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of from all these base of skull points all at the same time. And just work on melting those blocks. Lift out the blocks all at the same time. Melt them away with gold light. All right, good enough. Sometimes I also do, a lot of unblocking of the auras behind the good karma windows. Behind the base of skull area. You comb through the base of skull area and comb outward and drag out any junk that needs clearing, especially in the auras right behind the head. And then just, you got this big lump of junk. It's the angels. Can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? And then, so then it's just energy blocks and cords from people. So you just melt away the cords with gold light and then melt the blocks or blow them up. So again, comb through their base of skull area. So like this, just comb, stick your fingers in the copy of your head and just drag out everything that needs to get dragged out. Anything that's not you, just drag it out and collect up also the energy blocks in your auras right behind your head. And then say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into all this? And then melt cords from people, wash people out, and just melt the blocks or blow them up. All right, great job. Woohoo! You're a rock star. Yay. Confetti and ocean waves at the same time. How about that? Cup runneth over. All right. So that concludes the 5 essentials. Okay, let's do it. You can do it. You can do it. Give yourself a little hug of encouragement. Yay, I can do this. We're going to do it in a way that's healthy and gentle, right? Clearing abuse baggage in a healthy and gentle way. So what does that mean? We're only going to trigger what is not too much to clear right now. We're only going to clear, acknowledge and clear what you're ready to clear today. Okay? And it's going to help you keep your cool and be less triggerable in your daily life. So it's very important. It helps you with strong boundaries, helps you with everything, sleep, productivity, yada, 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 you name it, right? So what is abuse baggage? It's just shit from shitty times that you've been through, right? So compressed energy, other people's dumped energy, whatever, hard objects. It's just shit you accumulated from shitty times, right? And it could be, hard times that you went through in this life or many past lives. No, but again, we're only going to do as much as is healthy and gentle to do right now, right? So let's do it. So, you can make a big gold blanket out in front of you if you want and just pile onto it any junk, any abuse baggage from shitty times, right? Hard days, very, very hard days, very hard months, very hard years, whatever, right? You don't have to know when it's from. It could be from past lives. It can be from this life. Doesn't matter. Just, it's all junk and you can put it out in front of you, right? And then we're going to ask the angels a couple things first so we can do it in a very low drama way, right? So first question is, angels, can you check my piles and make sure that I'm going to clear what's healthy and gentle to clear right now? That way your angels can edit your piles. Okay, so your angels work fast, so they probably did that. And then you say, angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this stuff? So that just means, any invasive energy that could make this overly dramatic, because you don't have to re-experience anything as you're clearing this. It can just be, a pile of stuff far away from you on a gold blanket that you're going to melt or blow up, right? So you don't have to have any flashbacks or anything right now. Just, you can even make the gold blanket further away from you. Hey, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Deep breath while your angels do the work for you. And then you want to wash people out of this abuse baggage too. People can be courting your abuse baggage. It could be people that are not nice, or it could be people that are nice and are trying to help you but don't have great boundaries with your abuse baggage. So they're courting it. It doesn't matter who's courting it, right? So you just bring up red earth energy. You can soak the piles in red earth energy straight from the core of the earth. You can use gold light from your hands, right? Hand chakras, fingertip chakras, set them to gold, metallic gold color. So they generate gold light, and then just wash out the pile with lots of gold light. Melt cords from people going into the pile. Wash everybody out of the pile. And then it's just the abuse baggage. That's all. And then you could just blow it all up if you want, like pretty fireworks. Let's give let's see, there's a confetti image to help inspire you maybe. So or you can just use lumps of gold light and just keep melting the baggage till it's all gone. And if you're starting to feel weird at all, just reground. So for grounding, just you know, recreate your grounding. Your grounding is your connection to the core of the earth. So recreate it, make big and wide all the way down the core of the earth, red or orange or yellow, right? Nice big groundings, one for your spirit, one for your body, nice big and wide. Unblock your groundings, right? Because you don't have to re-experience any yuckiness. You're just clearing the chunks of energy that are left over. You don't have to re-experience. So just center yourself, remind yourself that you're safe, remind yourself how old you are now. Right? So let's do it again. Big gold blanket. You can push it far out in front of you if you're concerned about, you know, feeling any of it. And then just put out there on the gold blanket any abuse baggage that you're ready to clear right now that's been in your way, or maybe it's, you know, it gets triggered at certain times and then you feel weird. So it's easier just to clear it than to cart it around, right? Because it's bad enough you went through this stuff. You don't need to keep re-experiencing by getting triggered, right? So just put all that abuse baggage on the blanket and then say, angels, can you double check my piles and make sure it's healthy and gentle? And maybe, you know, something's too much to clear today, so your angels will remove it and work with you on it later, right? And then angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? And then now you can just do your own thing, right? Bring up red earth energy, soak it on red earth energy, use cold light from your hands, and melt cords from other people going into the baggage, wash everybody out of the baggage with cold light. And then just keep melting the pile or blow it up, right? Nice confetti blow up if you want. Oh, no, that's a different one. The confetti blow up one is this one. There you go. Blow up your baggage. All right, and we'll do it one more time, a little faster. Big gold blanket, put all the abuse baggage out that's been just annoying you and screwing your life. And just say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And get all the people out, melt their cords, wash everybody out, and then you can blow up the baggage if you want, or just fully melt it. And if there's any left over, just wrap it up in gold light and give it to your angels. Say, angels, can you help me with all that? All right, good job. You are a rock star. Woohoo! Hey, good job, good job. Okay, so this heal mini use, this is something I explained a lot before the healing started. So we'll just do it. So we're working strong boundaries, keeping your cool under pressure, right? So there can be parts of you that are particularly bad at keeping your cool under pressure. There could be parts of you that completely dissolve into a puddle of stress and panic, or parts of you that freeze up and can't do anything, or parts of you that, you know, are angry or whatever, blame it on everyone else. You know? So we're going to round up these parts of you that are not helping you to deal with your pressures in life, right? Because not to scold these parts of you, but because they need healing and they're messing you up. So you can line up the parts of you that just any parts of you that are most in the way of you keeping your cool under pressure. So they could be angry parts of you, sad parts of you, panicked parts of you, just completely traumatized parts of you, so they're like frozen. Any part of you that's particularly messing with your ability to deal with stress and be strong under pressure, right? And then just give these little mini yous a healing. Use gold light, lots of gold light. You can speak in comforting tones to these parts of you, and you don't have to feel how they're feeling. Just you stay in your body and you be you. And just lots of gold light wash out these parts of you. You can bring up red earth energy, give like a red earth energy soak to these parts of you, and then bring that down and bring orange earth energy up and soak all these parts of you with orange earth energy. Then bring that down and then bring up yellow earth energy from the core of the earth and soak these parts of you in yellow earth energy. Phone is somewhere. Thank you. All right. So there must be a mini me that's in denial about keeping my phone near me. I'll heal that part of me. Alrighty. So let's do that again. Well, okay, so we were healing those mini yous. And some of those probably are fully healed, and so you got the energy back. They're not separate anymore. But maybe some of those mini yous that are really not helping with your stress management and you're keeping your space under pressure. Those parts of you, you can say, angels, can you help me to heal these parts of me? Because you've already done some with the earth energy soak and the gold light, right? So the angels, can you help me finish healing these parts of me? And just take some deep breaths while your angels do that for you. So that was sort of all sorts of different parts of you that are in the way of you keeping your cool and having strong boundaries. I think let's do so that was a general. We've been working clearing distortion baggage. I think that's what I called it. Perception distortion blocks. It's my dog's medication alarm, which my husband's taking care of. But anyway, you can we've been working that whole thing about like you can have distorted perception. Like you can think, okay, well, this is what I'm meant to do next, and be pretty inaccurate. Or you're just wrong about the timing of it. Maybe you're supposed to do something else first, and you're confusing like, far away into the future intuition with what I'm supposed to do next kind of intuition. But you can also have distorted intuition that's like completely off base, and like because maybe you're bringing in your information and it hits a bunch of baggage and it gets totally distorted, or you just have energy in your mind that's distorting your own desires and intuition about like what you're meant to do, that kind of thing. Or, you know, baggage that's distorting your ability to hear your angels and what they're saying. So I think this could be, so we already did clear perception baggage in 2 different healings. The most recent one, the 1 of 2 healing, and also in the 2 of 3 healing this month of the triplet set, the second in the third in the set of 3 this month. So that's all, you know, clear perception distortion. I might make a short video on that someday. We'll see. But in the meantime, you can just go into those long videos and it's its own chapter. We'll see about that. But anyway, this is a different approach to it where you're going to heal many parts of you that are most misguided and most distorted in your perception. So that, you know, in order to hopefully speed up you getting more accurate perceptions and intuition. So let's do it. So you don't have to know like what you're misguided about or what your perception is off about. Just with your intention, pick the parts of you that have the most distorted perception, the most, you know, inaccurate thinking or intuition or communication with angels, right? So the most like misguided parts of you, right? And then just use lots of gold light and earth energy and heal these parts of you. And, you know, you can be comforting, say, hey, it's okay. It's just a healing. You're doing fine. You didn't do anything wrong. Lots of gold light. And then you can do tricolor earth energy soak, bring up red earth energy, soak these parts of you, bring that down, bring up orange earth energy, soak these parts of you, bring that down, bring up yellow earth energy, soak these parts of you. You can bring that back down. Lots of gold light. You could even make like clarity and non-resistance flowers for these parts of you, because non-resistance I think helps with clarity, because it's like, and you're not fighting against what other people want you to do, or you know, it's like less of an ego-based thing. It's more just like, you know, you're more able to have that inner stillness and wisdom. We can make energy healing flowers for your inner wisdom and clarity and non-judgment and non-resistance, all the good nons. So make those energy healing flowers out of universal healing energy, so it's gold and or rainbow colors. And the angels, can you check my flowers? And then you can give them to yourself. I was going to have you give them to these parts of you, but you can just keep healing these misguided parts of you until they dissolve fully. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings affecting these parts of me, can you please recycle them? And you can melt cords from people going into these parts of you, these mini yous that are misguided. And then you can say, you know, if these parts of you haven't yet dissolved, you can say, angels, can you help me heal these parts of me? All right, good job, good job. Woohoo! Okay. So there can be many parts of you that are that tend to be more like imploded and passive. Like, procrastinate or just kind of numb, not taking action in a way that would be more fulfilling to you, and so you can have that baggage and you can imagine parts of you that are most likely to do this, so like that, say if you get an energy attack, you'll just like sit around and feel awful, or, just like kind of go into resistance, right? So the parts of you that are most likely to implode and be passive, you can just imagine those mini yous and just be nice, be supportive and just use lots of gold light and earth energy and heal these parts of you that are more likely to just kind of crumble under stress. Right. And just, you bring up red earth energy, bring up orange earth energy, bring up yellow earth energy. Just be nice. Say it's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. And again, you don't have to feel what these parts of you are feeling. You can even make them a little further out away from you so you don't have to feel how they feel. Keep breathing. You can say, angels, can you help me finish healing these parts of me? Okay, so another one I want to do. So discipline, that used to be a bad word to me when I was younger. I think I wasn't really taught in a way that was kind, let's say. So when I thought discipline, I thought, oh, you're getting in trouble, right? You're being disciplined, like you're being punished, right? So I didn't realize that there's sort of an empowered version of that word, discipline. And discipline can be just the confidence and the determination to reach your own goal. So, and I didn't understand, because the way I was taught was very sort of oppressive and like you had no choice in the matter. You're just forced to do stuff. Right? I didn't realize that as an adult, you motivate yourself to accomplish things, or you don't. And so discipline is really insanely important in life, where you motivate yourself to take steps, step after step after step, to accomplish your own goals. And that if you have confidence and discipline, like there's not much, there's like so much you can accomplish. You can stay physically fit into, old age. You can, most likely, I mean, barring some kind of a unforeseen illness or something, but you can be way healthier than you would have otherwise been. You can learn languages, you can, so many things. You can, train your mind, learn energy healing, like you name it. You could learn an instrument. There's so many things you could do if you had discipline. And discipline wasn't like a bad, stressful, evil thing in your heart and your mind, right? So let's heal the parts of you that really can't handle discipline. like your own good discipline, like determination that they really can't, maybe you have, PTSD from being forced to do things. And so now the idea of, working towards something, like the fact that you work towards something and it may not be easy or even pleasant half the time you're doing it, but it's worth it, like that, like for example, with working out, on the treadmill, at first you may not want to do it, but then eventually like your endorphins kick in and it's actually pretty pleasant. But for a while, maybe it's like it just feels stressful and you feel tired and you're like, why am I doing this? But then eventually it's just like you hit your stride and you're like, yeah, I'm a rock star, you know? So that's the thing with discipline. A lot of times it's not like, this glorious feeling every second, you just kind of make yourself do it. And then eventually you get in the zone with it, or you just see the results of your actions over time and you're like, yeah, I am kind of a rock star. No, that was a big explaining. Hope you didn't mind. But anyway, so let's heal the parts of you, the many parts of you that are anti-discipline, that really are like fighting against you being able to have that healthy, positive motivation. Maybe I can rename discipline as self-motivation. Self-motivation, determination, that kind of idea. Okay. So put out in front of you all the mini yous that are anti-discipline, that are anti-self-motivation. For whatever reason, maybe because of trauma and PTSD, maybe because they're stuck in like a 2-year-old headspace, whatever parts of you really work actively against you being able to choose discipline and determination. Okay. And heal these parts of you. Be nice, but just heal them with earth energy and gold light. All these anti-discipline parts of you. It doesn't mean you can't have playfulness and all that. It's just the ability to be disciplined, the choice to be disciplined. Sometimes there's just these parts of you that, are like dead set against ever having discipline. So just lots of cold light and heal these parts of you. You can say, angels, can you help me do this? You say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into these parts of me, can you please recycle them? You can do a tricolor earth energy soak with these parts of you. Red earth energy up from the core of the earth. Bring that down. Orange earth energy up from the core of the earth. Bring that down. Yellow earth energy. Bring that down. Lots of cold light. So possibly some of these parts of you have already dissolved and they're no longer separate, anti-motivation parts of you. But maybe there are some leftover parts. So you can say, angels, can you help me to heal these parts of me? And just, maybe sit and breathe or have your healthy beverage while your angels finish this up for you. And you can have people courting these parts of you that still aren't healed. So use gold light, wash away cords from other people going into these parts of you. All right, good job, good job, good job. Okay, so this one is sort of maybe a teeny preview, like a micro preview of next month, what we're doing, which is next month in August 2025. The healings are going to help emotions, sexuality, and sensuality. So all the second chakra stuff. And somebody asked about beauty in their survey, and I would lump beauty in there with that. Sexual energies, hormones, sensual energy, I think can contribute to a physical appearance, an interest in one's physical appearance, and just a different sort of vibe that affects people's perception of your physical appearance. So anyway, that's what we're going to work next month. But I think it could be cool to just stick a little bit of it in here just to give people, some work on it now. So we can heal the many parts of you that most can't handle your own sexuality, and it could be because of, trauma or whatever things you've been through. But you can imagine the parts of you that are most either opposed to it or intimidated by your own sexuality and the sexuality of others. So just put out in front of you any parts of you that really have an issue with your sexuality or sexuality of others, or in general, just sexuality, right? And just heal these many parts of you. You don't have to blame them or shame them or anything. Just say, hey, it's okay. It's just gold, light, and earth energy. And just use lots of gold light and heal these parts of you. And you can bring up or do a tricolor earth energy soak with these parts of you. So red earth energy, bring that up. Soak these parts of you in red earth energy. Bring that back down. Bring up orange earth energy from the core of the earth. Soak these parts of you. Bring that down. Yellow earth energy. Bring that up. Soak these parts of you in yellow earth energy from the core of the earth. And then bring that back down. Lots of gold light. And just try to be comforting. Just be like, hey, it's okay. You're not judging these parts of you. It's just your sexuality is a part of you, no matter what age you are. And, and it'll certainly be a part of you in your next life and your next life and your next life. I mean, people could choose to be asexual, I suppose, but you don't want to, if you're sort of anti, like in a stuck kind of way, then that gets in the way of, all your second chakra stuff, like emotions, all that stuff. So it's good to just give these parts of you a healing. That way you still have your free will. You can still run your sexuality however you want or not at all, but that way you're not stuck. Lots of gold light. And you can say, angels, can you help me finish up healing these parts of me? Couple deep breaths. All right, good job. Okay, so this one we'll do quickly because a lot of what I was gonna do in this section, we already ended up clearing by doing the heal mini use section that we just finished. So this is just a little bit of leftover stuff in this section. So I had talked about buttons, that people can press your buttons, and it's basically just your own baggage. But if people cord it, maybe it makes you react in certain ways, defensively or angrily, or, you just get scared and nervous, whatever, right? And so it's good to clear your own baggage so that you don't have buttons that people can press. And you can't perfectly clear all your buttons forever and ever and ever right now. But, it's good to clear the ones that are most beneficial for you to clear at this time, right? So you can just make a big old blanket out in front of you, or just skip the blanket and just make piles if you want. But put out there any baggage that you would consider your buttons, that people could press that just makes you react in a certain way that's not in your best interest, right? So put your button baggage out in front of you. And you can say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And that way your angels will edit your piles. And then you can say, angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings that could be hooked into this stuff? And deep breaths while your angels just check the piles for you, clean them out. That way it'll be low drama to clear all this. And now just wash everybody out of the piles. You could have people subconsciously, definitely you could have people subconsciously cording your piles. You don't have to worry about why or who. Just melt everybody out of your piles, melt the cords from people. And wash them out of your piles, wash yourself out of your piles. And you can just keep using gold light to melt the piles fully, or you can blow them up. Maybe make it look like confetti when you blow it up, if you want, like that. So you're blowing up your button baggage or melting it fully. If you have any left over, just wrap it up in gold light, give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So we can do that one more time. Just put a big gold blanket out in front of you if you want, and pile onto it any of your button baggage. Any button baggage, so that you're not so easily triggered by people and situations. Right? And say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Deep breath. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Breath. And then wash everybody out, melt their cords. Gold light from your hands, wash everybody out. And just keep melting the piles fully. Or you can blow up the piles if you want. If you have any left over, just wrap it up in gold light, give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with all that? All right, good job, good job. Woohoo! You're amazing. Yay. E for you. Okay, so. Okay, so we're going to repair and unblock your 7th to 8th connection. We'll do it pretty quickly. I already explained in before the healing, there'll be an individual chapter on it explaining 7th to 8th connection. So 7th chakra is in the top of your head, confidence, identity, gold, inspiration, all sorts of good stuff. Your 8th chakra is above the top of your auras, either a foot above if it's really close that day or that moment, or even 10 feet further up. So it comes and it checks in much closer or goes further out, depending on if your higher self is interested in what you're doing. Like if you're watching something especially vapid, like Say Yes to the Dress, which, believe it or not, years ago I did watch. The Netflix thing, I think. Then your higher self probably could care less about Say Yes to the Dress. And so the 8th chakra is more high up, maybe 8 feet up at that moment. Whereas maybe if you're watching this live stream, your higher self might actually care because, healing, growing, evolving faster. That's good. So maybe your higher self is pretty close, just a foot above the top of your auras. So let's do it. How about that I worked in Say Yes to the Dress. Never say never. Okay, so just your seven chakras in the top of your head. Purple is a good color for it. That weird bucket in the drawing, that's supposed to be your seventh chakra there. So the round opening at the top is right in the top of your head. So just use gold light and you can unblock your seventh chakra, give it a little extra repair if it's needed. Unblock the bottom and the top. It's not really a bucket. It shouldn't be a bucket. There should be a flow in the bottom and the top of your seventh chakra. So unblock both the top and the bottom, your seventh chakra. And you can unblock both seventh chakras, but this cord to your eighth chakra, between your seventh chakra and your eighth, that's your astral body seventh chakra, which is directly connected to your eighth. So that cord, I drew it in the diagram as orange just because that's the color dry erase marker I have, but it's gold. It should be gold. So just wash it off so it's nice and gold. And you want to check for any hard objects like I put in that diagram, I put in that drawing. So there could be like, hard objects just stuck in there, and then foreign energy can kind of cord there and muck up the communication that you have between you and your higher self. So you could sticky gold wax that whole 7th to 8th connection, which means gold light for your hands that sticks to whatever's not you. So then you can remove it like a big lump. So sticky gold wax your whole 7th to 8th connection, and remove the wax with all the junk all at the same time. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax. Remove all the junk. Angels, here you go. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings anywhere near my 7th to 8th connection, can you please recycle them? You can just pop out any leftover hard objects, have them destroy as they're popping out. Yeah, and you can have energy blocks stuck in the 7th to 8th connection, like a clog in a pipe. And you want to melt those away so that your information from your higher self doesn't have to get distorted as it passes through baggage before it gets to your 7th chakra. You want this connection to be gold and flowy. Full deep breaths. Redo your grounding. Grounding a little. All right, great job. Woo! Okay, so we're going to wrap up, including working your second and first chakras and your second and first aura layers. Second and first aura layers. Of your astral body and physical body aura. So we're going to decompress those so they're not so dodgy, so they're more wide and flowing and just you, right? So make a copy out in front of you of your everything, all your 17 auras, your physical body and your astral body, both your groundings, connecting you to the core of the earth, connecting you and your body to the core of the earth. Home through your groundings, lots of gold light. You want to unblock your groundings so they're flowing all the way down to the core of the earth. There could be blocks right at the bottom, right before the core of the earth, so you want to melt those. You can check out your second chakras and your first chakras. Use lots of gold light. You can sticky gold wax your second and your first chakras. Lift out all the junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax your second and first chakras of physical body and astral body. Just have the gold wax stick to whatever's healthy and gentle to get rid of right now from those two chakras. Lift it out. Angels, here you go. Gold wax. Oh. Orange is a good color for your second chakra. Below your belly button. Emotion, sexuality, sensuality. That's the one we're going to work a lot next month in August healing. First chakra, courage, safety, and abundance. Red is a good color for your first chakra. Set it to your favorite shade of red. And then just you can comb through your first and second chakras and outward to the front. Comb through your auras in front of your tummy. Melt those energy blocks. And comb through the very top and the very bottom of your second chakras, second layer and first layer. Above your head and below your feet. Legs are always nice to do. They're important in a lot of ways. You have a lot of meridians that begin or end in your legs. So good flow and presence there can help you in many, 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 many ways. In sort of a macro level, you bring up red earth energy through a foot chakra in the arch of each foot, and that red earth energy comes up through your legs into your first chakra at the base of your spine, also into your kundalini chakra, which is just below that. So we can unblock your legs using gold light. Have a copy of your legs out in front of you and just unblock. Unblock your feet chakra. That big one in the arch of each foot. Unblock it so that you get enough earth energy coming up. Because you can maybe you don't have enough earth energy coming up your legs to your first chakra, but maybe you have enough, but it just like it leaks out along the way. So check for leaks in your legs. You could have hard objects that are causing leaks. So just pop out any hard objects, have them explode. Say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you recycle them? And then the earth energy, so then you can have enough earth energy coming all the way up to your upper thighs, but then you can have blocks in front of your first chakra or your kundalini chakra or both that make it really hard for you to get the earth energy into your first chakra and your kundalini chakra. So you can just peel off those blocks, like they could be just hard, flat chunks. So just peel them off and you can blow them up or melt them away. Peel off the box, melt them away. You want to get enough earth energy, red earth energy coming up through the first chakra, through the kundalini chakra, that then it flows out the back too, and you know, you can release all the blocks down to the core of the earth. Let that earth energy come up through the legs, into the first chakra and the kundalini chakra, and then out the back, lower back, all the way down. Unblock the back of your first chakra, the back of your second chakra while we're at it. Right. Good job. Good job. Come through everywhere. The back of your auras, the back of your groundings. All right. So as we finish up, you can just say, angels, can you please help me finish up this healing? Deep breath. And you can say, angels, can you please help me have strong, healthy boundaries? Angels, can you please help me keep my cool under pressure? All right, you're a rock star. Woohoo, that's a healing. Yay, great job. Okay, so the healing is done, and I'll take a quick bathroom break. You could too, and then I will do some very quick stretching. If you want, you could do some stretching yourself, whatever is healthy and gentle for you to do. And then I will do a little chit chat. If you have any comments about how the healing was for you, any comments about the theme or the topic that we discussed, you could do that. You could, post it in the chat. If you wanted me to look at you and you're a newbie, like I haven't worked with you before, you can ask me whatever. I mean, it's not a huge giant question. If you want me to look at your energy, put your first and last initials, because I'm assuming you don't want to put your first and last full names, but just your first and last initial. That would help me to look at you. And if you are not a newbie, you know my work, then I would appreciate if you are more empowered and you just state your own read on your issue, and then I would just kind of double check your read of it, see if I have anything to add. Okay, so let's do that. I will get rid of the camera so you don't stare at an empty chair while I am gone, and I'll be right back. Hey. So you could do some stretching if you wish. I'll just be a minute and then we can do our chit chat. Hello. Hope you had a good break. Okay. So I'll look for comments I have not read yet. And if I don't have time to get everything read, every comment looked at, you could repost your comment if you wish under the video. And later, when I have time, I will post a video reply, a comment reply to your comment. Set a timer. I always go way over. I'm hoping not to this time. We'll see. Alrighty. It says, hey Janet, it's 93 in Southwest Michigan today. Hot. Oh, that is. And humid. Ooh. That's like Chicago. Chicago has hot and humid a lot in the summer. We don't, knock on wood, we don't have humid out here in the summer. Our summers are like crazy dry, like wildfire danger kind of dry. But at least we don't have hot and humid. Like if it does get hot, A, it doesn't get as hot, and B, it's definitely not as humid. So I hope you got some solution for that. Some way to keep it cool. So it says, hi Janet, thanks for the healing. You are very welcome. I intuitively cleared a lot of childhood trauma this morning. It's late here, 1:30 a.m. Always happens before your healings. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and I was mentioning there's that there is an inner child healing little short video in the short video playlist. If you do want to walk through, I mean, you probably don't need a walkthrough, but if you want one. In that short video playlist, which is featured on my YouTube channel page. Someone says, oh, the convo about discipline is so helpful. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, that's one I need to re-listen to over and over, I think. Because, like, discipline is, like, such an amazing life advantage. Like, if you But like for some reason, because of how I was raised, I have the most, not so much now, but I have had in the past just a complete aversion to discipline, like 100% aversion to it. But then there are some things that I have worked really hard at, but there were plenty that I didn't. Like the whole idea of like a long range goal that you keep working towards, like getting muscles. That's a long range goal, keep working towards it. Exercise, physical fitness, learning a language. There's all these long term goals, like career change goals that you can just get good at working towards. And you have that sort of calm, mindful self motivation kind of a thing. It's amazing. It's like a game changer. Oh, yeah, I'm glad that made sense to you. It says, hey, Janet, I love the topics in this healing so far. I got really angry about something my boss said to me on Friday morning, and later that day I found aura damage in the back and my dad in my space. I think my boss's comment triggered my dad baggage, angry man baggage. Interesting. Yeah, it's funny how much people's family of origin baggage affects the workplace. In companies, like unless you're self-employed, but then it's childhood baggage still comes into play. But in a workplace, it's like a little bit easier to see because there's like all these people interacting and really interesting stuff. So yeah, I think that could be really interesting for you to work more, like what childhood baggage from this or past lives do you project into work relationships? Very cool. That could be a nice fresh angle to work, your professional space, your work quality of life in your workplace. Cool stuff. Someone says, thank you so much for the twin set. You're welcome. I was pretty engaged and discipline topic was my favorite. I felt pretty drained and nauseous throughout it. Oh my goodness. I'm already making excuses about going to run later, self-assess. Very interesting. Thank you. Self-assessment. It's my third chakra and layer with devices and baggage that my sister left. And you mentioned her initials. Oh, you know me so well. Thank you. I see her on my spiritual path because she doesn't like me working out. Yeah, that's a fact. Interesting, isn't it? I can wash her out and repair. It seems like I'm missing something, though. Isn't that interesting? So your sister gets pissed off when you go running. So, okay, so if your sister was not in your space at all, like not on your path, not in your auras and chakras or grounding, then would you want to go running then? I think it's got to be your sister and your mother. Is some other female as well. If we remove your sister magically, and then how motivated are you? Okay, and then we remove it's not that odd best friend thing, your former best friend. It's not her. It seems like a mother type figure. Maybe a mother-in-law if your mother doesn't make sense for that. Oh yeah, your mother might make sense for that. Now that I think about it. Okay, so if we magically were to remove your mother and your sister from your space, yeah, then you would be going running. Plus, if you get some music that motivates you and start playing it and maybe do some stretching while you're listening to the music, then you're like, okay, let me at it, So yeah, I would say mother and sister are in your space is why you're thinking of bailing on your workout today. Interesting stuff. But yeah, very interesting nausea, third chakra link. That's pretty common. Yeah, third chakra is wild with body stuff. It's like, it helps you balance and balance could be inner ear, but also physical coordination. Third chakra is a lot of that. So yeah, nausea, all that. But yeah, I would say mom and sister, clear them out. You could do that what is that? Invasive people room melt floor technique, and just imagine everyone who's in your space, including those two, and then just the floor of the room is your baggage that allows them to be in your space, and then just melt all that so that they pop out and the room dissolves. But yeah, good self-assessment. Cool. Someone says, hey, hi, nice day in Ottawa, Canada. Warm and breezy. Nice day yesterday, getting out of the big city into a small town and into the river for a swim. That sounds nice. Healing feels good. So far, a bit heavy recently, like 5 minutes ago. Which I don't know what part of the healing 5 minutes ago was. Let's see. 5 minutes, but it just feels like a whack rather than a big headache coming on. Well, that's good. Yeah, it does seem like it was a whack. I would say, like, behind, like, here, behind your left upper back, do a little extra repair. And 7, 6, and 5, you got some cracks in your major chakras, 7, 6, and 5, because of all the whacking there and the aura damage. So just maybe redo repairing 7, 6, and 5, and 4, maybe just for good measure. Oh, right. A little bit extra aura repair and chakra repair. Someone says, I had Project Runway marathons on my TV because the designers working with unreasonable, stressful deadlines made me feel not so alone when I was the only one working at the school late at night. That's interesting. How does procrastination, it's probably one of the more productive reasons someone might watch that show. As opposed to just, I'm train wrecking and watching it for no reason. I don't think I've seen an episode. I mean, it might be motivational if they're being creative and, how does procrastination by looking at all the cute kittens on animal rescue sites and thinking of adopting one more jive with one's 8th chakra? Yeah, your angels are like yelling at you when you do that. They're like, focus, stop doing that, stop. Funny. I mean, I think your 8th chakra is pretty close at that time. Your 7th is blocked, so it's not really, it's getting distorted. The 8th chakra information is getting distorted by the time it gets to your 7th chakra. Sometimes you get triggered and then you just like turn away from like facing forward on your path, and you're just like, nothing matters, nothing matters, I'm an idiot, nothing matters, I'm an idiot. You just like loop on like yuckiness. So, in general, when you're like that, you could just reground and think, okay, what am I avoiding? Even just baggage wise, and just blow up some stuff in your space. This is what I'm avoiding. This is what I'm avoiding. Yeah. I emailed you too, by the way, recently. I don't know if you saw it. Okay, moving on. So clear avoidance. I'm sure there's a short video on clear RAD blocks, maybe RAD, resistance avoidance denial blocks. Clear RAD blocks. You could do that short video. Or even just some stretching at that time. Just back away from the computer. You and computers is kind of a thing. Like computers, televisions, you just kind of like go into the screen a little and then you're like really uncentered. Maybe if you like give yourself foot rubs or something, or I don't know. You just step away from the computer now and then. Because it's, you get very ungrounded, it seems like, around the computer sometimes. Oh, right. Not that it's the computer's fault. It's just it's just a learned pattern that you have. Someone says, fun healing. Janet loved the passive mini use. It worked for me after having family gathering. Checking on chakra fit. I need to redo more second and first chakra and legs and unblock more lower left. I see. So you're self-assessing. And you're saying, and I see my dad on my path. Yeah, I think that's accurate as far as your path. But your path is kind of funny, you know? It's like it's like wide where you are and behind you, but then it like narrows and gets weird and dark. I don't think that's only your dad. Because if we were to magically remove your dad from your path, it's still getting narrow and weird and dark. I don't think it's invasive beings. You know, it seems like it's your sons. I think, like, I don't know, for some reason. So if we magically remove them from your space and your path, then, yeah, then your path seems fine. Mostly fine. And there's a little bit of, like, your mother-in-law in the distance. But yeah, I think your sons were having the biggest influence on your path. I think, you know, when they don't know what their future holds and what they're doing, it's like they just kind of like to take you for granted and like to think that you're like a given, you know, like the couch and the sink and a chair, you know, like they don't want to think that, you know, you're changing and evolving and you might want to do something totally different in a week or, you know, start a new project for yourself or whatever. Like they just, is it like they're very ambivalent. Like part of them wants to grow up and be 40 like tomorrow. And then part of them wants to act like they're 10 and be looked after constantly. So the part of them that wants to be 10 and be looked after constantly is like hogging up your path. So you know, you can just wash them off your path and be like, hey, you know, my path, me. But yeah, I think that actually could help your chakra fit situation a lot better. A lot. You know, with 2-in-1 and your legs and stuff, you know, the lower part of your GV and CV meridians, I think would help. You know, just unblock those and expand that, let those be more flowy. I think that could help your second and first chakras as well. I don't think you need all the tummy meridian stuff, just CV, GV, and maybe CV Wei Chi aura and GV Wei Chi aura, just in that region of you know, hips and thighs. I hope that helps. But yeah, good self-assessment mentioning the path stuff. Someone says, so timely these topics. Feeling salty and moody since Wednesday. Felt fine today and yesterday in the morning until I go to work and start getting angry. Today, I think it's because a customer threw something on my path and there was aura damage. I broke up with someone recently and believe some of the aura damage is from them. Thank you for the healing also. Well, I mean, if we think of you now, do you have aura damage now? I would say, yeah, you do have some. Even though we repaired, was it you all repaired after I did it and then you got repaired, you got damaged since then? Yeah. think so. So the damage is like front, left side, and then top. Not like all your auras, but like 3 or 4. So yeah, do some little bit of aura repair. You have a lot of white coming in from the top. I think because of that aura damage from the top. So when you get your aura repaired up there, just double check, and maybe you might have to recycle a few beings that are shooting white down at your 7th. But as far as, okay, so is it your recent ex throwing energy at you? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was talking to him, your ex, and I was like, okay, why are you throwing energy at her? And he's like, because I wanted to date her. I'm like, okay, but does that make sense that now you're throwing energy at her? And he's like, oh, I guess not. Like, but I'm like, well, you can have your angels help you process. Like, all right, I'll do that. So maybe you might have to remind him of that kind of thing if he starts whacking you again. Just talk it out with him on a telepathic level. Alrighty. Someone says, thanks, Janet. Feel much better and being very productive. Oh, that's nice. Still irritated from ex-coworker, though. Is she courting blocks? Maybe in 4th and 2nd layer has whacked my aura and is in my space. Mentioned this person in my survey for context. How is my assessment? You say my SA. I don't know if you mean that's the person's initials, but I did read your survey, but I don't remember the person you were talking about. Ex-coworker. I think, if you clear your internal resistance to her behavior, then she can't get in anymore. I think that when you are aware that she's, even subconsciously, that she's pissed at you and throwing energy, it triggers a lot for you about like not being supported by women in particular, it seems like. I think you said she's female. It seems like, yeah, you said that. Yeah, it seems like you have a lot of baggage around, like mom baggage, like baggage about not being supported by women. And so when she gets all pissed and starts whacking you, it just triggers all of that. Like, man, these women, and it is true. I would much rather have a man pissed at me than a woman on an energy level. Women are more thorough and determined with their punishment sometimes than a man. I mean, if I had to just stereotype, which is not always true, of course. But yeah, so just work on clearing the baggage that allows you to resist her anger and punishment. Because if you don't resist it at all, it seems like then your boundaries are okay with her and she can just rage on you and it just kind of bounces off you. Hope that helps. So as far as your self-assessment, that, I mean, she is whacking you. She was in your space. As I talked, though, I think you got her out. So just keep working that non-resistance and clear baggage about conflicts with women and women not being supportive, women not understanding you, women not, you know, yeah, that's the gist of it. Okay, hope that helps. Someone says, thank you, Janet. Feeling mellow, feeling stuck about job stuff, and I seem to feel good and motivated some days, but very stuck other days. I think it's a lot of past life baggage that I'm working through. How'd I do? Your sister, you mentioned this in your survey, I think, and I noticed at that time, it seems still to be the case. Sometimes it's your sister-in-law, who might get in your space and then you're down in the dumps. Because I think you had said, oh, it's your mom or your sister, because usually it is, But I think your sister-in-law lately is a little bit, she'll jump in your space and then your mood just goes, um, so is it past life baggage that you're working? Yeah, I think not so much. I think it's just boundary energy with boundary issues with people that you know. And some days you have better boundaries than other days. You can look at, okay, well, why? It seems like some days you have like a good body affinity, like with your physical body, and you're more likely to stretch and breathe deeply and just eat well, and you know, like your kundalini is on, not too much, but enough, and you feel good about yourself. Like there's that heart chakra, self-love going on. And so in that case, they might still be triggered by what you're planning, but it doesn't work, it doesn't derail you. Other days, like your kundalini's off and you're kind of tired and you're kind of like distracted, and you're still, too much of you is on the astral still, and then they could just pile in and your mood tanks. So yeah, you could do that kind of read on yourself and look at how the days that you have a good mood, what's going right, just so you can work on replicating that on the other days. Because I don't think those people are less invasive on your good days. It's just you have your shit together on your good days. You got your kundalini and your heart chakra and all sorts of body validation stuff. It says, I did see white on top of my aura and have asked the angels to clear it. Is that not working as well? I think that's a little passive for you at the level you're at. I mean, you could do that, but I think they're like, is that all you got? I think your angels want you to kind of be a little bit more of a car mechanic with it and, repair the aura, you know, repair the aura damage. And I think if you were ready to repair your aura, then your angels would meet you halfway and recycle the invasive beings, and then you repair right away, And, if you were already unblocking up there, so that the beings can't, even once you get repaired, if you have a bunch of blocks there, they can cord from outside of your aura and send in energy that way. So if you unblock and you're ready to repair, and then you ask your angels, then they'll, recycle any invasive beings in the way, and then you can finish the repair. So maybe it was just a little overly do it for me angels kind of a thing that they didn't like. Hope that helps. Somebody says self-assessment essay. Oh, some people say essay for sexual abuse, so I didn't. That threw me off. Self-assessment. You could say read. Read is not a lot of words, not a lot of letters. If you want to say my read, because I think essay is just going to make me think of sexual abuse. On videos, I guess people don't want to say, say stuff. They just say essay. You got essayed. Whatever. That's a thing the kids are saying these days. Someone says, thank you, Janet. Feeling quite tired post healing. My husband had the healing. How did he do? Thank you again. His angels give me a thumbs up, which if you ever want the short form of that, just ask your angels, how did he do? If they give you a thumbs up, he did great. But they're happy about it. The heal, the mini use, he they're gonna work with him more on that, but that's their favorite for him. We didn't exactly do the shit starter parts of you, but we did the discipline. We did a bunch of stuff that they like for him with the heal mini use. So that was the biggest thing for him. But yeah, he did fine. And the 7th, 8th connection one, they like a lot for him. I just did a little extra for him. But yeah, he did well. So quite tired post healing. I think you're bringing a lot of new energy. Maybe just unblock above your head and above your shoulders, so the new energy coming in doesn't sleepy. Your new energy coming in. Someone says, thank you so much, Janet. You're welcome. My sister and my kid are also telling me to get off the kitten sites. Yeah. Yes, getting ungrounded on computer time. We'll see the clear avoidance and rad blocks videos. Thank you for the email too. Yeah. Yeah, so watch that with the computer stuff. Your computers don't have to be so ungrounding, but you tend to not stop yourself when you're just zoned out, stuck on something on the computer. So if you just recognize, it's like if you have comfort eating problems, you don't want to buy cookies, and keep a whole box of cookies in the house, right? Because you have that comfort eating issue. So for you have a zoning out and being impressively unproductive on the computer issue, and also getting very sidetracked on the computer issue. So you got to kind of recognize that the computer, like your computer time, you got to monitor yourself with your computer time, and understand that that's a bit of a danger zone for you, and maybe try to, develop some sort of a system where you're managing that. The equivalent of like, don't buy big boxes of cookies, so like maybe try to force yourself to get up and, go touch grass or something, or, force yourself to get up and just listen to music and do something else, or something, because it's a little risky pattern that you have. Someone says, thanks for the feedback. Will the body affinity stuff also help with job application motivation too? Yeah, it does seem like that. Yeah, seems like that. GB meridian governing gallbladder meridian. The one that we did a little bit of 2 days in the first healing. Gallbladder meridian, which you see on the side of the head, right there. It's like there's so many greens and blues in that diagram. It's a little confusing, but it's like it starts in the corner of the eye, not the turquoise corner of the eye one, but the blue green corner of the eye one. And then it goes to the ear, lower in the ear, and then it goes up to the hairline, and then it goes down, and then it does a wide arc over the ear, and then it goes up to GB 14, I think it was. Was it 14? No, 24. GB 24 is here. So GB 1 is here, and then all those points between all that, and then that's GB 24, right? So the the GB gallbladder meridian helps with self-assertiveness. So that could help with like job applications, self-asserting. So you could heal the whole GB meridian, but also the GB specifically around the head, that you can get a lot of compression with the GB meridian right there. So GB meridian, Wei Chi aura around the head, and just, unblock that particular Wei Chi aura. That could be interesting with helping the whole meridian itself and your self-assertiveness and your sort of intellectual self-assertiveness, which, job applying is. So yeah, getting those people out of your space, working your body, validation type stuff, your kundalini, your heart chakra, but also gallbladder meridian stuff. Could be interesting. Somebody says, I got inspired to journal during the live stream. That's nice. We'll watch it later, rewatch it later, and got some exciting realizations and insights. Woohoo, good for you. Thank you for the healing, Janet. Yay. All right. Well, you guys are amazing. So just a quick update, not much. I did get to use my wood chip sifter, the rotary one that doesn't hurt my fingers and wrists and elbows, that I had ordered. So I used it for the first time yesterday. So that was fun, even though that sounds kind of really geeky. It was nice. I mean, it was a lot of, it was like almost $300. It was like $275 or something. That's a lot of money, but I can't permanently injure myself just to sift some stupid wood chips, So this way it's faster, and doesn't mess with my fingers and my everything. So that's great. So that's my garden update. I'm able to sift wood chips. And I did 2 wheelbarrow loads. I put them over on this planting that I have. So I still have way more to do, but a good start, and it proves that purchase was worth it, which is a relief. Because I have bought things that maybe I didn't need in the past that were pretty pricey for gardening. So this one is already proving its value. So I'm happy. What else gardening wise? Oh, deer ate the tops. I mean, they've been eating our blueberries, but we have 3 of our blueberry bushes all netted and stuff, so I'm not worried about them eating from the other bushes. As long as they don't, completely eat the entire bush, I'm fine. I mean, as long as they don't eat too much of the actual branches. So that's fine. But and they, knock on wood, have not really eaten much kale at all, which is fortunate yet. Although I did cover our biggest kale patch so that hopefully it's hidden from them. But they ate the tops of maybe 3 tomato plants out of, how many do I have? Like 12 tomato plants, something like that. So that's kind of a drag, because if the top is off, then they don't keep going up, growing bigger, unless they develop a side shoot and you let the side shoot grow, and then they can grow bigger. So I'm going to have to do that with those 3, let a side shoot grow. That's kind of a bummer. And so the question is, how do I, protect all the tomato plants from the deer? So I bought this thing. It's supposed to be super smelly and disgusting. It's called Liquid Fence. Supposed to smell like bear piss or something, like really horrid. And they use like rotten eggs and like other things to make it. So it's a natural product, but it's like hardcore. But it's only hardcore to humans for like the first 12 hours or so, and then like we don't smell it much, but the animals still smell it really strongly. So my neighbors will love me for that first 12 hours. um but anyway, I bought a spray of that, and then I bought pellets so to put on the ground and spray. So hopefully the spray is gentle on the plants. I'll have to test it on one first, but anyway, so that's interesting. I did buy a bottle of the insecticidal soap for the kale that has aphids, like a big aphid problem. One or two of the kale plants is like completely screwed with aphids. So I don't know if I'll use it, but at least I have it. And then I also set out these eggs. They're like so teeny, but supposedly they're eggs of like green lacewings, which is like some kind of bug that in the larva state it eats aphids. But apparently even the lady from the bug company said that they can't fully eradicate the cabbage aphids, those bugs, you know, the good bugs. So that's why I wanted to have that insecticidal spray on hand. We'll see. The problem with the insecticidal spray is it'll kill anything that you spray on it, like any bug. So there could be some good bugs mixed in with the bad bugs, you know. Oh, we'll see. We'll see what I do. Dun, dun, dun. The saga continues. As far as pets, Izzy's fine, thankfully. Our dog, Boo Boo Kitty, our cat, she's really cute these days. Like part of it's because when we eat late, we ate dinner so late last night, like I think it was after midnight actually. And she was starving by then. And so she was very forward, you know, and fearless about approaching us and getting her food and getting treats from us. So it was pretty cute. So she's pretty adorable. She still doesn't let us pet her or anything, but you know, at least she'll kind of flop her body on my legs when she's trying to get a treat off my lap. So that's cute. All right, cool. So you guys are amazing. Thank you for your patience with my insanely flexible start time. And I hope you have a good rest of July. And I'll do a little sales update. Of course, everyone knows this by now, unless someone is just tuning in, which may be true. So jwhealing.com is my website, and you can learn more about me. You can buy a set of healings so that I'm actually healing you in the live stream next time if you want. That's my website address, jwhealing.com. And if you don't get my news emails, but you want to every month on the 15th, basically they just will say like the theme coming up, or, you know, when I put a new set of healings up for purchase, that's when I send the email out. So not like earth-shattering news, but if, you know, you want to know about the healings so you can buy them, a good thing. Also, I have a 2-page chakra handout, which is no charge. If you want, you email and ask. You have to ask for these things, though. You know, like ask to be added to my news email list, because I don't want to be spammy. So you could email me and ask to be added to my news email list, and you could ask for the free 2-page chakra handout, and I would just send it to you. It's an email attachment, talks about different chakras and the major chakras and their color and purpose and blah, blah, blah. How each one helps. So my email address is oops, didn't mean to put a period. Confused. It's auto putting a period. That's annoying. All right, well, anyway, that's my email address, janet@jwhealing.com. Okay, guys, you are so amazing. I hope you are finding enjoyment in your day. Take care. Bye.